Although motivation is not necessary for completing tasks or goals, it is really, really nice. It definitely helps. What really matters is your dedication and commitment to getting something done. But I totally understand how motivation plays a really big role in helping our determination stay strong. So today I want to talk to you about several ways that you can get motivated if you're in a decluttering rut, if you haven't even started because you're so overwhelmed. I hope today's video is super motivating. Let's get started. First, plan to declutter for 10 minutes and choose a project that you can complete with 100% success or close to 100% success. Sometimes I think we start these projects and we might work for 10 or 15 minutes and then stop and feel discouraged because we've only made a small dent. And although progress is progress, and I've always said this, it's better to do something than nothing, and getting just a few things out of your house does add up over time. But as far as when it comes to motivation, it can be discouraging. When you know, I've got to come back to this tomorrow, and oh my goodness, it just seems so overwhelming. So choose a project that you can literally complete from start to finish in about 10 minutes. So this could be like going through your socks and just weeding out the ones with holes and that don't have matches. Don't even pair the socks up. Nope. Just go through and get rid of holes, get rid of unmatched socks, outgrown socks. You can also just go through a drawer, a shelf, one bin, one tub. So choose these small successes, and it really helps to keep your momentum alive and keep you committed to that goal that you made to declutter whatever it is, whatever large amount, whether it's a room or your whole house. Avoid distraction as much as possible. Here's what I mean, and here is why. When you get into a decluttering project, let's say, and you start noticing all the dust or how dirty the baseboards are, and you start cleaning and you start dusting, it takes away from your decluttering time. Let's say you only had 20 minutes that day or that session, and now you've spent half of it cleaning. There's nothing wrong with cleaning. But in the case of decluttering and needing motivation, it's really helpful to just put your blinders on to absolutely everything except the project that you're working on of decluttering. Nothing else matters. Put it out of your mind. All right, I think most of us could agree that we are visual learners to some extent. I am mostly a visual learner. Let me know in the comments how you learn best. But for me, a visual cue is so rewarding and so motivating. So one suggestion I have is to get two clear jars. I love mason jars. I have them in my house. Fill one up with like clothespins or buttons or whatever it is that you can get in a large quantity. And every single time you complete, now you decide, 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes of decluttering, move a clothespin into the other jar. This sounds so elementary and basic, but man, that visual is really powerful. Once you fill up that second jar, you're going to reward yourself. You're going to go ahead and go to the movies. You're going to buy yourself a new sweater to replace the one that you had to get rid of because it was totally holed up and pilled up. So do something for yourself after you've filled up that jar. Do something that really motivates and encourages you specifically. And that visual, like I'm saying, is such a great motivation. It's like when you're doing your workouts and you mark things off on a calendar. We do this with ourselves, and I think sometimes we don't even realize a checklist where we check things off the box. I just think this is so helpful and really just triggers the brain to keep going because you can see that visual kind of transform before your eyes. How many of you love to watch decluttering videos here on YouTube? I love it. I'm subscribed to many minimalism, decluttering, clutter-free living channels. I think they're wonderful for motivation. And anytime I feel like I'm in a slump, I will watch one of these friends declutter, and I call them friends because I do feel so connected with them because they've helped me so much. So I'll let you know, a few channels that I love are Clutterbug, Dana K. White of A Slob Comes Clean, At Home with Nikki, The Minimal The Minimal Mom. And then Natalie Bennett has an incredible series called Messy to Minimal that I am so dedicated to watching. I get so much motivation from it. So I will go ahead and link these gorgeous ladies down below and you can follow along for even more motivation. Let's talk about the power of association. And what I mean by that is, anytime you want to watch your favorite show, you want to listen to the next chapter in your audiobook, you want to listen to Adele's new album, whatever it is, you must do it whilst decluttering. And I think this is really, really powerful because this association with something really, really positive can make decluttering feel less of a chore and we can feel more motivated to do it. So this takes self-discipline, but anytime you want to accomplish anything, you have to have this. So practice your self-discipline and just have maybe 3 things that you are only allowed to do if you are decluttering. Now, you have to be careful with this one because you can't let it then be a huge distraction from your decluttering project. If you start a Netflix episode and you end up just sitting there watching it and you cannot do both at the same time, don't choose watching a show while you declutter. You're gonna have to choose something else, something audio. So just be really, really careful that you then don't let this be an excuse, a distraction not to declutter. All right, let's go back to this idea of visual cues. I absolutely believe it is imperative that you know the reason why you want to declutter your space. And you have to keep that really, really at the forefront, I was gonna say, of your heart. It's true. Your mind, your heart, everything, you have to be really, really aware of the reason why you're doing this. It can be you just want to spend less time cleaning so you can spend more time learning an instrument. Maybe it's so you can spend more time with your kids. Maybe it's so that you can save, shop less, save more, and have a fun vacation with your family every year. There are so many reasons why we declutter, why we want a clutter-free space, and ultimately we have to know, and it's going to be different for each one of us. We have to know why. All right, here's where it becomes visual. Write, and you can have more than one reason, but write one of your reasons, the reason why you are doing this, and then stick it next to a decluttering project or a clutter hotspot or wherever it is that needs to be next to or on top of a pile, a project that you need to get to. And every single time you see that pile, you will also be reminded why you want to declutter, why it's important to go through that stuff, how it will benefit you in the long run. I love this one because instead of just looking at the pile and seeing so much work and so much energy and effort and oh my gosh, I have to make all these decisions, this is so overwhelming, how long can I put this off for? You start seeing something positive when you see that pile of stuff, when you see that cupboard absolutely weighed down with dishware that you're not using. It's tricking yourself. And I love this. I love tricking the mind. The mind is amazing and so powerful, but if you can switch the way you see this and you stop seeing everything as something so negative and overwhelming and just more work and more decisions, start seeing it attached to something really positive, like accomplishing these goals and getting to this place in your life where you are able to enjoy more freedom. For me, having an accountability partner is huge. But I want to think outside the box on this one a little bit. And instead of like calling a friend, which I'm not against, but instead of calling a friend and just saying, hey, I'm going to declutter my garage this weekend, will you check in on me on Monday and see how I did? Nothing wrong with it. But how much more powerful could it potentially be to have your family in on this? Now, if you don't have a family, definitely call your friend, call your mom. Again, nothing wrong with it. But if you have the ability to use the people in your home that you are living with to help keep you accountable, I think it is powerful for motivation. So let's go back to the 2 jars. You can tell your family, once mommy fills up this second jar, guess what? We're going to do something as an entire family. So you can do either one. You can reward yourself or do both. Reward the whole family, and it keeps your family on top of you. It helps them to also want to declutter. Every time they declutter for 5 or 10 minutes, they get to move a pin. Isn't that so awesome? So you're kind of working as a team. Your kids are now on board, hopefully your spouse if he's got time, and you're working together as a team, keeping each other accountable, but mostly if you're spearheading this, they're keeping you accountable. But definitely doesn't really matter who it is. Get somebody that you're accountable to, and maybe you can do this together. Again, if you don't have a family that lives with you, have your mom on board with you, a sister, a friend, can be so motivating. This last one is definitely one of my favorites. So for every, let's say, 30 to 50 items that you declutter and you decide what's reasonable for you and what's, gonna keep you going, you're going to give $1, $2, $5, whatever you decide, to a charity that you really support. The reason I love this so much is because it's associating decluttering with something more meaningful and bigger than yourself. I think this is such a beautiful way to focus on decluttering and keep yourself motivated, because you know that the more you can declutter, the more you're going to help someone else. Not only by donating these items that you're not using, but by keeping this promise to yourself to donate every single time you declutter a certain number of items. Let me know which of these motivating strategies you think would be the most helpful to you. Please also subscribe before you leave my channel today. I make videos like this every single week. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.